Launching multiple rockets in the same day has increasingly become a norm for SpaceX. On Wednesday, the private space company has two major flights lined up within hours between its test facility in Texas and the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. In Texas, near the Boca Chica Village, SpaceX is expected to launch its latest Starship prototype, SN15, for another high-altitude test flight, but exactly when is unclear. Starship SN15, serial number 15, SpaceX's newest vehicle, could fly on a high-altitude test from the company's facility near Boca Chica Village sometime between 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. EDT, 1700-0100 GMT, on Wednesday, according to a road closure alert by officials with Cameron County, which includes the test site. Wednesday is a backup day for SpaceX, which originally had road closures from the country for May 4. The Federal Aviation Administration last week authorized test flights of SpaceX's next three Starship prototypes, SN15, SN16 and SN17. The agency approved multiple launches because SpaceX is making few changes to the launch vehicle and relied on the FAA's approved methodology to calculate the risk to the public, FAA officials said in a statement. The FAA has issued all-day flight restriction notices to pilots in the Boca Chica area from May 4 through May 6 to give SpaceX clear skies to fly. If today's attempt gets scrubbed again, the company has one more chance tomorrow. SN15 is SpaceX's fifth version of Starship to fly in less than 5 months. SpaceX conducted engine tests of the rocket earlier this week to set the stage for the upcoming launch. The first Starship to fly, SN8, launched December 9 and flew well, but crashed during landing. Each of the three other Starship flights, of SN9, SN10 and SN11, had similar fates. The SN10 launch did manage to land but exploded a few minutes after touchdown. None of those flights aimed for space, instead targeting an altitude of 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers. SpaceX is developing the Starship vehicle as part of a fully reusable heavy-lift launch system that will also include a massive booster called Super Heavy. SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk has said Starship will be the core of the company's deep space rocket fleet for trips to the Moon and Mars. NASA has tapped the Starship vehicle to land its Artemis astronauts on the Moon. SpaceX has also sold a private flight around the Moon using Starship to Japanese billionaire Yusaku Maezawa, who is searching for 8 crew members to fly with him. Also this afternoon, SpaceX is set to launch a Falcon 9 rocket from Florida to deliver the latest batch of 60 Starlink satellites into orbit. A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched a full stack of 60 Starlink Internet satellites into orbit on Tuesday afternoon, May 4, and then stuck its landing at sea to top off a successful mission. The veteran Falcon 9 rocket blasted off from Pad 39A here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 3:01 p.m. EDT, 19:01 GMT, marking the company's 13th launch of the year. SpaceX launched its own version of the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, the Falcon 9, on Star Wars Day, aka May the 4th, a global celebration of all things Star Wars. The 229-foot-tall, 70 meters, rocket is named after the Millennium Falcon, the iconic ship in the Star Wars franchise piloted by Han Solo. Its payload? A full stack of 60 flat-paneled broadband satellites called Starlink. And liftoff. May the Force be with us, a SpaceX launch commentator said during a live webcast of the mission. Approximately 9 minutes after liftoff, the rocket's first stage returned to Earth, touching down on SpaceX's drone ship Of Course I Still Love You, for its 9th successful landing. The launch was originally part of a planned SpaceX doubleheader, as the company worked towards a launch of its massive Starship at its South Texas facilities. That flight was pushed back to no earlier than Thursday, May 6, while the Falcon 9 was able to get off the ground. Onlookers were treated to quite the spectacle as the rocket blasted off as part of a rare daytime mission. SpaceX is continuing the rapid launch pace set last year, as the Hawthorne, California-based rocket builder celebrated its 13th launch so far in 2021. Every single one of those launches have been on reused rockets, and most have carried SpaceX's own Starlink satellites. That's because the company has been working to fill its initial internet constellation of 1,440 broadband satellites. That milestone has already been achieved, but SpaceX isn't slowing down. The company currently has permission to launch as many as 30,000 Starlink satellites, with an option for even more. Forecasters at the 45th Space Wing's Weather Squadron predicted favorable conditions at launch, and the weather did not disappoint. It was nothing but clear blue skies over the Space Coast as the Falcon roared to life and climbed to orbit.